Okay, hello to everyone, and welcome to this very interesting and informative webinar. We're going to be talking about the entire realm of cybersecurity. The most common question, in fact, we always get is: we're starting with cybersecurity. I'm starting afresh. Where do I go? Do I need to go and get a degree, or how does that work? So that's one of the most common question that I get most of the times. So this webinar, we're just going to go through that process. We're going to look at some of the certifications that are required, where to get them exactly, and some of the things to consider as well as you are preparing to go into the realm of cybersecurity. So let's jump straight into it. Okay, so you're getting started into the field of cybersecurity, and the field of cybersecurity is very interesting in the sense that when you're getting into cybersecurity, it's one of the few fields that does not require a degree, a university degree, in fact. Um, but for some other reason, it actually pays quite a lot. So in order for you to get into cybersecurity, there are certifications that you have to get, and these certifications are the ones that are industry recognized, which you get, and eventually you're able to work within the cyberspace. So we're going to look at some of the certification vendors, or rather the companies that offer these certifications that you are required in a sense to get, and we will then take a look at how it is that you prepare for them, and take note, of course, that some of these certifications are quite different, but we'll get through each of them. So when you're getting started in cybersecurity, the first thing you'd want to do is to select a certification vendor for yourself. Okay, so a certification vendor is essentially just a company that's going to offer you that certification. So our certification vendors, there's obviously different kinds that I have here. We've got quite a lot, in fact, but they're all different. So we've got CompTIA, we've got ISC squared, which is quite a well known. We've got the EC Console, Hack the Box, and Offensive Security. Each of these offer different kinds of certifications. However, the end goal around them is very much the same. So you select your certification vendor, but you're probably now like, okay, Nash, but how do I know which certification vendor to select and essentially get a certification from? So I'm going to go through some of these certifications one by one. Some of these certification vendors I've worked with myself, and I actually hold some of these certifications to be working as a cybersecurity analyst and a digital forensics investigator. So some of these I have, so I'll be glad to guide you along the way. I'll also give you spoilers on which of those are difficult to get and which of those are a little easier. So starting first with the vendor CompTIA, it's also one of the industry leading certification vendors. So if you are to get into cybersecurity and you would like to take the CompTIA route, CompTIA can offer you these three. There's obviously more certifications, but I'm just going to stick to cybersecurity in a sense. So if you're getting into cybersecurity, you have the option of getting a Security Plus, a Pen Test Plus, and a CySA, or Cybersecurity Analyst Plus. So the Security Plus, which is actually what we include in our cybersecurity bootcamp, it's one of the compulsory ones. When you're looking at the Security Plus, you're looking at more entry level to intermediate level cybersecurity type of stuff. So you're looking at your more defensive type of techniques, antiviruses, intrusion detection systems, how to configure those kinds of things. And the Security Plus exam is actually divided into two. You write a theoretical exam and you write a practical exam, which spends for quite a couple of hours. So time is not exactly a thing that you have to really worry about when you're writing that exam. The Pen Test Plus, on the other hand, it's more hands-on. Reason being that it is very practical. So this is where you do the actual hacking itself. So you're working on more offensive security. So if you want to work as like a penetration tester, an ethical hacker, an auditor in a sense, this would be the best certification for you to get in that case. So this certification is theory. So the structure of your exam will consist of what we call lab exercises, where you have a certain objective that you are provided to say, we would like you to do this and this and that and find this and this on this computer. Go ahead. And from there, you would be able to go through that entire exercise and eventually solve the problem that's handed to you and draft out a report for you to get your points from there. So that's one of them. And I took the Pen Test Plus and the Security Plus myself. They're quite interesting. Between those two, I can actually say the Pen Test Plus is the one that's slightly a little more challenging due to understanding the commands and typing into terminals and black screens and all that. It's a little intimidating for someone that's getting started. So it wouldn't be advised to start with a Pen Test Plus, but rather start with your Security Plus instead. Then the cybersecurity analyst it is more of a security plus as well as some paperwork put together. So you have quite a lot of theory in it, and yes, you do have a bit of practical, and that's about a third of that certification. So this one is someone who likes thinking by the rules in a sense. So if you like to stick to a certain plan and go on with that plan, you can go ahead and take your SA plus. That certification would work best for you. So CompTIA is a perfect certification vendor. It's industry recognized. Many companies would require that you have a CompTIA certification before working in the realm of cybersecurity. So you can jump into one of those ones as well. Okay, then we have the most well-known certification, which is ISC squared. And ISC squared has, I'm going to just talk about these three actually. The most well known, and which I can say is the easiest certification to get when you're starting, is actually the CC, which is the Certified in Cybersecurity certification from ISC squared. And this certification is theory, quite a lot of theory. You look at some social engineering attacks and a whole lot of these theoretical attacks that happen in real life, and you just go through some methodologies and everything about them. So it's quite a lot of theory, and this is the certification that we would recommend someone who is perfectly new into cybersecurity, so they understand the terminologies and the methodologies that we use in cybersecurity. So that's one. But take note, these two on the other end, these people who actually have these two certifications are paid quite a lot of money, and it really worries me. But those two certifications, they actually require someone with over 5 years of industry experience in order for you to jump into those certifications. So for instance, that certified cloud security professional and the CISSP, which I'm working on myself, those two you would need at least that 5 years of experience for you to get them. So when you register at ISC Square to take one of these exams, you would have to give references of employment um, for those certifications. Okay, just to pause here a little bit. Are there any questions? Please do take note, guys. If you have any questions, do put them in the comments there, and we can answer them as we progress through. So do place your questions in the comments, and I can attend to them as I proceed. Okay, so that's ISC squared. Then we have one of my favorites, which is the EC console. And the EC console, it's an American system. However, the entire structure that they use is actually global, and I actually have like two of these myself. So the first is the certified ethical hacker, and I love these certifications. The certified ethical hacker, there's been like about three that have been created through time. So the certified ethical hacker version 10, version 11, and version 12. So they improve as years go by. So the V10 was made about a couple of years ago, and V11 and V12. So when you have a CH, you actually have to improve it as they improve as well, because cyber attacks improve as well, so their curriculum needs to improve along as well. So this one is more offensive security as well. It has a bit of theory, but you do quite a lot of practicals, especially with that certified ethical hacker. Okay, and then you have the certified Chief Information Security Officer, or CISO. CISO people, you will actually see when we look at some of the salaries. This is one of the most paid people in cybersecurity, in fact, and it's one of the most difficult certifications to actually get. But difficult doesn't mean impossible, of course. So you can also get into that CISO. This is where you're actually able to lead a team rather than being a cybersecurity analyst on your own. You're able to lead an entire team to work within an organization and perform different kinds of tasks. So you are able to assign those tasks through to your entire team. And then there's one of my other favorites, which is the Certified Hacking Forensics Investigator. This one was one of my hardest. In fact, this was one of my hardest certifications to get. This is more law enforcement type, where you get to investigate into cases. The digital forensics part, you get to find deleted files and cases. You get to do quite a lot of stuff, decrypt files and all that in order to solve a case. And the reason why I love this one is I love law, and at the same time I love computers, so it kind of fits the ordeal to be getting my CHFI. It's also one of the hardest as well, and it needs quite a lot of computing power to be doing that. And for someone working in law enforcement, that would be the ideal certification to jump into. Nonetheless, I'm going to take a pause here. I believe I actually have questions. So, can we have a price for each certificate? Yes, yes. So let me actually go back to CompTIA first. So, CompTIA certifications like your Security Plus, Pentest Plus, they have a relatively similar price range. However, the price ranges they actually fluctuate, unfortunately, but they all go along the realm of 5,000 to 7,000 or so just for the voucher itself. And one of the disadvantages I actually don't like about CompTIA is the availability of material that's provided by CompTIA. It's quite less, which makes it a little challenging to get CompTIA certifications. Okay, thanks for that question. And does the bootcamp offer funding when obtaining international certification? Okay, so to obtain a international certification from one of the vendors, you would require to purchase a voucher, and vouchers are quite costly depending on the certification that you're getting. However, there are discounts that are provided when you're studying with an accredited institution, like Melsoft, for instance. So if you were writing, for instance, the CompTIA Security Plus, you provided a discount in order for you to get that. But the amount that is discounted, again, it fluctuates, but it actually brings quite a big load off your shoulders in order for you to end up writing that certification exam. Okay, and I'm asked, I am currently studying towards the CompTIA Network Plus, completed a full stack web development bootcamp last year. Am I taking the right steps to venture into cybersecurity starting with Network Plus? Woo! Perfect. Yes, you are taking the right steps, but it's not the most solid steps. The reason for this, in fact, is the full stack web development is not exactly a useful thing when you're studying towards your Network Plus. I mean, it's not exactly as relevant when you're studying towards it. So you would want to start with maybe the A plus if you were a newbie to computers and everything. You can start with CompTIA's A plus, then you can jump right into the Network Plus, and from there you've got it. Okay. Then regarding obviously scholarships and funds, we had a scholarship run, but unfortunately it closed and we awarded scholarships. However, yes, we do have student loans. If you would like to study with us at Melsoft, I would meet you in the classroom. Um, you can of course get a student loan if obviously affording it all at once is an issue. You can get a student loan with Manati. We are partnered with Manati, and you can get a student loan, and then you can jump straight into your studies. And the beautiful thing, of course, about Melsoft is it's one of, in fact, the only institution I know that gives you 100% guaranteed internship upon completion of your bootcamp. Of course, there are cases where you have to actually finish the bootcamp. So, yes. Okay. All right. So jumping into them. So that was the EC console. Just to take note as well, the ISC squared. If you wanna do the CC is actually free for a first timer. So when you're starting afresh, as in you've never taken ISC squared exams before, you're going to actually you're going to get a free voucher to do so. However, with ISC Squared, there's a membership that's paid every year, which it ranges like about 700, 800, north to 1,000 a year. It's a membership fee. Then the CCSP and the other ones, again, you need a certain experience level for you to write those exams. So you need that 5 year experience first. Then from there they cost about $400 or so, which is a little pricey. It can go north of 3, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000. Kind of the equivalent of your CompTIA certifications in a sense. Okay, all right, so that was the ISC squared. EC console is the most expensive I've known, but it's worth it. So the EC consoles certifications, they can go up to 9,000. They are ridiculously expensive, but ridiculously worth it as well. In fact, the price ranges are quite the same. In fact, for the CEH, the CISO as well as the DHFI, they're quite the same. Another question that I'm also asked is, what happens if I fail the exam? So imagine I've paid 9K in order to write the certification exam. What happens? Well, you paid again, so you have to be absolutely sure. But I'll give you a mini guide in a sense of how to properly prepare for those certification exams. Okay, then last but not least is these two guys, Hack the Box and Offensive Security. Now, Hack the Box, or HTB in short, is one of the ones that we actually look at in the Melsoft Academy bootcamp. Um, so, Hack the Box has what is known as the Certified Penetration Testing Specialist. So in that certification, we do a lot of practical. That thing doesn't have any theory in its exam at all. So in this exam, we do a lot of penetration testing. We get modern PCs, modern servers, Linux, AWS machines, and we hack into it as our final exam. And that's how that CPTS, or Certified Penetration Testing Specialist exam goes. There's another one that's quite known to be difficult is the OSCP by Offensive Security. Those who don't know who Offensive Security is, they're quite famous actually. It's the creators of Kali Linux. Those who are quite familiar with Kali Linux. So this certification works with Kali Linux. You do your exam in Kali Linux, and you just hack from the beginning to the end. And the good part about this exam is that the practical itself is actually more than 1 day. So you can go for like 2 days trying to hack into machines in order to pass your exam. So it's another good part. But it is ridiculously difficult because your exam itself is so monitored. You can't chat GPT your way through it. None of that works. So it is perfect for those people. Okay, we have a question from Lufuno. What type of laptop do you use? I wonder if that is asking about me specifically. Um, I'm just gonna answer regarding cybersecurity itself. It all depends on what it is you are doing exactly in cybersecurity. We can't say an entry level laptop or computer works. So 2 gigs of RAM is something you'd have to throw in the dustbin. 4 gigs of RAM is also something you throw in the dustbin, and also eight. Um, However, we go north of 8 gig, going up would be better. On my side, I have a 16 gig RAM laptop, but remember, RAM is not enough on its own. You also need to check things like the CPU of your laptop. So at least 8 gigs of RAM, and in terms of your CPU, in terms of your CPU, if you can get at least a Core i5 going up, then you're perfect to get into it. And the more modern your PC is, the better. And also, regarding the storage, how much capacity your hard drive has, it actually quite depends on what you're doing. You would find if you're doing something like digital forensics, having a 500 gig hard drive would not be enough at all. So you'd have to go with 2 terabytes going up if you're doing something like that. So it all depends quite on what it is that you're doing. So I hope that that answers your question, Lucky, Lufuno. Oh, yes. Okay. Then, how exactly does one prepare for these exams? So it's a three-step process, and it's going to sound as if I'm not supporting you going through these 3 steps. But the 3 steps, you have to prepare on these two fronts. So I love this wonderful thing where I'd say the quality of work or the quality of results that you produce is always going to be the knowledge. The knowledge is the first thing, the knowledge, the practical, and the time. So knowledge, practice, time. So the knowledge is the first thing. It wouldn't make sense that you put a lot of time but you know very little knowledge. So you need to grow that knowledge first, you need to practice it, and then you can give it some time. So that is like the very big part about it. So the theory will take care of that knowledge part. Know that. So normally when you're working on certifications such as your CC, you're certified in cybersecurity by ISC squared. The beautiful thing is that it's theoretical for one. So because it's theoretical, they'll provide you with study guides and they'll provide you with practice questions from time to time to essentially prep you towards that final exam. So whenever you try those questions, always try to simulate your exam as close as possible. So try to time yourself within the limit of that exam itself. So if your exam is 3 hours, for instance, do not go around taking 5 hours to do that. You're failing to reach that time span that's given to you. So simulate that exam as much as you can and as closely as you can. So that's for the theory part. Note that there's the other certifications that are not as theoretical. For instance, the Hack the Box exam, it's all practical. This wouldn't exactly make a lot of sense, so you would jump straight into the practical. So keep that balance, obviously, if it's between the two. So as for the practicals, a big thing you'd always want to be able to do when you start in cybersecurity is to build a lab of your own. Okay? Using platforms like VMware or VirtualBox or any other hypervisors that's out there. And for those who don't know what a VMware or a VirtualBox is, it's just an application that allows you to run an operating system inside your computer. So if you use Mac, you can have Windows in your computer running side by side. So it's a beautiful machine. So just try and build a lab of your own with many operating systems that you have installed there. And because you have so many operating systems installed, you can essentially practice all your practicals on any of those operating systems. And from there, you've got that level of practicality that you need. So that's one thing. Okay, but luckily, um, platforms like Hack the Box, when it comes to your improvement, platforms like Hack the Box that we use ourselves at Melsoft, in fact, those platforms like Hack the Box, they receive new machines every week, depending on how cybersecurity is changing. In fact, if there was a new piece of malware that was designed in the market, you'd find Hackterbox already released a machine about it that week, so that basically the other people can have a look at how it works and know how to work with those new trends and new vulnerabilities in the market. So it's the best. So with Melsoft Academy, you've got that extra edge, and we keep on sharpening that blade from time to time. Okay, so the idea is following that 3-step recipe essentially. So first, yes, now you're getting started. You've selected your certification vendor. So maybe you chose ISC squared or Hack the Box or CompTIA or Offensive Security or any of those. Um, so after choosing it, now it's a matter of choosing specifically which certification it is that you would like to write. So if you would like to do the CC of ISC squared, then you would take it from there. Do not go around reading obviously material of of other certifications. Otherwise, you're just going out of context and it would mess up your final exam. So you'd want to stick to the material, stick to the game plan. After doing that, you just jump straight to step two, which is all about the studying. So this is almost like doing a driver's license. In fact, it's almost like doing your driver's license. You do your learners and then do your driver's license. So it has its complications, of course. So you have to do proper preparation on that. Okay, then of course there are practicals that you have to do. Some vendors, of course, they provide you with practical walkthrough videos. If you do it with us, obviously I'm the one who personally guides you through them, so you don't really need those practical walkthrough videos. Why would you need it if you have me, after all? So yes, then step three, of course, is to now register for your certification voucher. Again, you're given a discount if you are studying through an institution. And studying through Melsoft, for instance, you would get that. In some cases, when you get a textbook, there are some textbooks that are accredited with CompTIA. If you get the textbook, you can also possibly get a you can also possibly get yourself a discount on it. But it's a textbook, there's no practicality in the textbook as well. So obviously the word of advice is to go with an institution so you have the normal experience and you have the practical experience of studying with others, and then from there on you're good as a whole. Okay, so you follow this process. What is the end goal exactly? Well, everyone is driven by money, unfortunately. It's through what it is that you go through in order to end up with the money. So others say it's personal interest, others say it's just curiosity, personal growth. It's still money at the end of the day. So we can talk money. So when you're looking at the careers, this is by pay scale, by the way. Remember when I say that CISO is the most paying? So there is CISO right there. And that pays about $256,000. That's about like what, 3 million. Actually, that's like 4 million or so. Yeah, that's like 4 million a year. If I get that money, I would just disappear. But nonetheless, that's the CISO, and it goes all the way down to a security trainer. That's kind of bad for me. But anyways, going up, we have like the cybersecurity administrators, IT analysts, security specialists, and as you progress through, we have penetration testers there, which is majority of the certifications that we saw. It can get you to around about that within a year. But it kind of feels unfair, obviously, to be able to get certifications like the CISO and the network security architect. You have to have industry experience yet first. So when you're getting into cybersecurity, it's almost like a ladder that you have to climb going upwards, in fact. So you cannot exactly just land and become CISO as soon as you begin. You would have to take it step by step properly. Okay, so we are going to close it off there, guys. So for those obviously who have that itching interest now, you can of course join us at Melsoft Academy. We of course work on the three certifications as mentioned. We've got the CompTIA, your CompTIA Network Plus, and your CompTIA Security Plus, as well as your Hack the Box. These of course are compulsory as per the bootcamp, of course. There's a whole lot of practicals thanks to our partnerships with those institutions as well. So it's an industry recognized. By the way, it's not a question of whether it's recognized in South Africa. It's actually recognized globally, in fact. So for those who would like to, of course, apply to join us at the Melsoft Academy, there should be a link in the comment section. You can click it, apply, and I will see you guys in the classroom. So, if any of you guys have any questions, please do drop them in the comment section and let's have a look at it. Have a wonderful evening, guys, and I will see you guys in the classroom.